Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton. Idolatry presents itself in many forms and it can trap the unwary person. There is a very detailed explanation in the book called The Divine Code, a third edition written by Rabbi Moshe Weiner. That is on from page 105, I think it is, yes, 105 to 234. Now, there are many examples given of what is prohibited, what types of prohibitions we must be aware of. So if you have a copy of the third edition, please, after this video, go and look at, or at least start reading some of that. But today I want to concentrate on the many forms that idolatry can take that we aren't possibly that conscious about at the time. And sometimes idolatry is blatantly obvious. We certainly see outward symbols and depictions of idol worship, and you know immediately what that is. But sometimes it's subtle and disguised. And I want to ask you to think about that, and I'll talk more about it now. Just what are those subtle hints of idolatry, and have you ever given it any thought before? At our present time in history, it would be sensible to say that we only have to look at the news on the televisions or listen to it on the radio to come to the conclusion that in general society is in a state of great discontent. There's troubles all over the world in different nations. There's fiery debate about people's rights, etc. And the list goes on of all the examples that illustrate how society in general has become caught up in its self, their own self-worth, the self of me. And there are accessories that go with that, and I call that that society has become selfish. It's salacious, it's shallow, and self-sanctifying. And that is the sort of thing that you can glean sometimes from just speaking with others. And I'll give you some examples about this impulse mentality and the self-sanctifying mentality. So we do see people who are very self-indulgent. In fact, we've all come under that banner at some stage or another. The feeling of I'm entitled to. It's my rights above somebody else's. There's expressions of anger and severe retaliation that can be verbal or it can be physical. And also, when you think about the images that you see right now at this point in time, there seems to be this tremendous worship of the body beautiful. And that takes on all forms, from the tattooing, the extended fingernails, hair extensions, and look, I'm just naming some. There's heaps more, I understand. More and more people are having plastic surgery, and I'm not talking about cosmetic surgery to rectify justifiable things. I'm talking about people just have this fountain of youth mentality. The body has to look great. So again, it comes back to this self-satisfying, self-sanctifying worship of self. And there are other outward signs that you will notice. There's that old expression, keeping up with the Joneses. The emphasis is on prestige. It's about the type of car you drive, the clothes you're wearing. Are they brand names? Again, it comes back to this. It's about me, how I want to present myself. I want to have myself worshipped in some way. And then it goes on to different or additional things, such as, it must be an upmarket address that you live in and park your prestige car in a garage there. So again, you come back to this puffing up of self-importance. Sometimes it's a stepping over others to benefit self. Now, let me qualify that. If you have a good income and you need a safe, reliable car and you don't want to be worrying about breakdowns, then of course you can afford to buy a better car, but it's serving a purpose other than making you look good. Or you may prefer to buy certain clothes because you like the way they are comfortable, they fit you nicely, they always have something on the shelf that is suitable and appropriate for you. That's a whole different thing. But when you go out and your whole life and your gathering of possessions is all about how good it makes you look, the impression it's giving, then you've got to think that perhaps you're caught up in that subtle form of idolatry. And is it doing anything for you? I think not. I think not. So all these outward signs are trappings, again, extensions of that impulse and that discontent. My advice is that we should be concentrating on our inner spirituality, that special part, that inner beauty that we all have, the kindness, the charity that you do, the relationship that you have with Hashem, your prayer pathways, how you think about things, how you frame what is realistic and important, the thought that you put into things. Why am I doing this? Why am I buying this? Am I buying these new shoes because I actually need a new pair of shoes and I like the colour so they'll be fine? Or is there a sale on and I need 2 or 3 pairs of those, they look great, they're fashionable, they're a high-end brand name and I'm getting, 25% off. How many pairs of shoes can you wear at once? Only 1 pair. So these are just gentle reminders for us all to think about and examine ourselves. Are we caught up in that subtle idolatry part of life? Or are we actually concentrating on our one true and only God? There's no second person, third person, intermediary, props, statues, or anything else. It is one true God who is here around us, enveloping us every day with his loving kindness and divine providence. That's what we need to concentrate on. And when we do that, all things naturally will fall into place. The inner self becomes that shining beauty, that contented, self-assured knowledge that you are on the right path. And suddenly all those other trappings are just that. They're just trappings. Do I need them or don't I? So I urge you all, particularly coming into another year, will be 2020 soon, start thinking about all those things that you do on an impulse, on a whim. You can look at those as a form of idolatry, that I want it for me, it's all about me. And it's really about your relationship with Hashem. That's the part of the me that you should be concentrating on. And we've all been guilty of these things in the past, and I think it's time we all thought about those things more carefully and concentrate on really what is important. We all have a divine mission, and that's what we should be concentrating on, not perhaps spending too much time thinking about what garment sale you're going to next, or what's the in brand of cosmetics at the moment. I just want to remind you all as well that our first Australian Noahide conference will be happening in September 2020 on the 9th, 10th and 11th. And there will be details on the website. You can email me for information, and as more information becomes available, I certainly will be making that known to you, either on our Facebook page or by direct contact. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. It'll be in Brisbane, Australia, and the climate should be beautiful at that time of year to visit our beautiful city. So just remember that inner beauty image, your spiritual body, is what is important. And when that is correct and in place, your outer image improves immensely because you're contented, you're relaxed, you're self-assured, you know you're on the right path. So maintain that beautiful relationship with Hashem. Please take care and God bless.